to the 2023 general election. We are very, very certain that the election is drawing closer, and it's going to be a wonderful one. It's going to be a wonderful one, and it will be a success. But a lot of issues have been coming up as regards the election, and we have people who will be joining us today to tell us about their own view and what they think their political parties have for Nigerians, not just by men say, and how they hope to implement these various things that they have laid out. I will not be doing this all alone here in Tim-Osa studio. I have with me my co-host, which is the person of Ijabla Papka. Mr. Ijabla, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Timothy.
Thank you very much for joining us. And how do you hope to see the meeting of today?
First of all, it's my pleasure to be a co-host, and sincerely speaking, I've been expecting this meeting, and where I would like to hear from men and timber of caliber that are really capacitated in political parties' ideologies, that they would like to market each and every candidate that they support, and to throw themselves to the ring that Nigerians will decide coming February 2025.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ijabla. So this evening we have men of timber and caliber in different political parties. But we know because of time and because of because we did a poll and people actually choose the People Democratic Party, the APC, and also the Labour Party's candidates or supporters to join us this evening in our show. So with me this evening, we have somebody that I know to have been a chieftain in the People Democratic Party, but recently he has been a major force in the camp of the Labour Party, the person of Peter Obi. So this man has been doing excellently well in different areas in terms of campaigning for the vision of Peter Obi. So we have this evening before us Mr. Ifaluyi Isibo. Good evening, Mr. Ifaluyi Isibo.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing? Thank you.
We are good. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. So, and also we have another personality in our midst, a very wonderful gentleman that we also have known over time to be working hand in hand with the governor of Edo State. He's the one of the SSA to the governor of Edo State, and he's been doing also well in terms of campaigning for the People's Democratic Party, their candidate, and he's been moving around and making sure that he sells the vision out to the people. So this evening with me in our Tim-Osa studio, we have the person of Dikin Okumbo Jonathan. Good evening, Dikin Jonathan.
Good evening, Nigerians. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you very much. So we hope to have the third person soonest, but because of our time, we just have to start the show this evening. So Mr. Jonathan, what can you tell Nigerians, because Nigerians all over the world, they are all watching this program, both on YouTube and also on Facebook. So what do you have to tell the people as regards the candidacy of your very own boss, Atiku Abubakar?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Like I said earlier, the agenda of the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria is simple: rescue Nigeria. For us, we are in a dispensation that is the most demonic, most pathetic, most painful, most inhuman in the last 7 years plus. What we are asking Nigerians to do is to take us to the old good days where Naira was about 100 and something Naira to $1, where the pump price for fuel was less than 100 Naira, where we could move from one region of the country to another, where Nigerians can at least breathe a fresh air. We are only asking to say that the two regions that have not gotten presidency in this country is the Northeast and the Southeast, that the Northeast should be given a chance. For me, as an entrepreneur, beyond being a politician, I indeed need somebody who has tested the economic environment in the person of Atiku Abubakar, who has sustained businesses for the past years, not just a regular politician that will be able to convert 1 Naira to 2 Naira, that will be able to convert taxpayers' money to infrastructural and human capacity development. That is what we are asking Nigerians to do. I'm happy. I would have been sad if the APC man would be here today, and I want to hear what he has to say to Nigerians in the past 7 years that we have been in perpetual torment. Thank God they cannot even be here. I'm sure he will not be able to stand the kind of heat he will get from Nigerians. So what I'm asking Nigerians today is to look backward and say, where are we coming from? The People's Democratic for some years, and the APC took over. Let's watch the difference and see what can be better. I think that is.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan, for that brief intro by telling us what your very own boss will be doing and what Nigerians also expect from him. So over to you now, Mr. Ifalui Isibo. So what will Nigerians be expecting from your very own boss, Peter Obi?
Well, thank you again for having me on your discussion panel today. It's very simple. Nigerians are at the crossroads. The average Nigerian today is frustrated. The average Nigerian today is in despair. The average Nigerian today is dejected. The average Nigerian today is hopeless. All he wants to do is to have a decent life. All he wants to do is to be able to be productive and contribute to the development of society. All he wants to do is to be able to fend for his family. All he wants to do is to be able to travel from point A to point B and arrive safely. All he wants to do is just to be a human being. There's not so much the Nigerian people need from government. But sadly, government has been unable to provide the basics for the Nigerian people. And the options for 2023 is but one. It's not a game or a contest between the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party. It's a game between the Nigerian people and their oppressors. It's a game between moving forward or going backwards. It's a game between improving your life or losing your life. So I don't think the Nigerian people just now have an option to make. It's just one. And that is why we have seen an astronomical surge in the involvement of the people in the 2023 politicking. We're seeing an increase of about 12 million people who are registered newly to vote. We're seeing an increase in the number of people wanting to get their PVCs. We're seeing an increase in the number of people who may never have voted before, but coming out strong, to let the world know that Nigerians are ready and alive to take back their country. And the only option we have today, to be fair, is that a man has come and the man has given us hope. The hope that the market woman needs to survive, the hope that the student needs to excel, the hope that the father needs to imbibe in his own life and in the lives of his offspring and those he caters for. That is what the Nigerian people, that is that is where we are at the moment. And I cannot tell you that there's an option. Like I said before, Peter Obi has come at the time where the nation was at the cliff. 2023 is a defining year in our nation's history. And if the people just now are not able to select from amongst the gentlemen who are aspiring to lead, if the people just now cannot elect the best of the few gentlemen who are aspiring to lead, then there will be no hope going forward. I think the Nigerian people are pulling in one direction today. We're all speaking one voice. There's an obedience in every corner of the society. There's an obedience in every vehicle that is plying the roads. There's an obedience in every mama put or restaurant you see anywhere in the country. The people have decided to obey their conscience in 2023, and the unanimous decision is to make Peter Obi president, because Peter Obi is coming with a different mindset. That is what the nation needs. We don't just need a change of government. We need a change of the mindset of the people. That is the direction the people are looking at. So it's not just, oh, let's remove the APC and have another government. No, it's a complete metamorphosis, a complete transmogrification that the Nigerian people are yearning for. That is why you see very senior politicians in the APC, in the PDP, endorsing Peter Obi. That is why you see very senior politicians, some serving governors, some serving deputy governors, endorsing and campaigning for Peter Obi. It transcends beyond political party now. The people are all, there's a sense in which there's a unanimity of purpose. Nigerians are all pulling in one direction. And that is all we can see today. And if anybody tells you anything different, the person is just joking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faluyi Isibo. So over to you now, Ijabla.
Okay, I've heard you people loud and clear, and I'm very happy that you people are here ably representing your candidates. Yeah, fellow Nigerians, this is my question I will start with this question to the people present. Unfortunately, the All Progressive Congress candidate representative is not here. So I will start. I would like them to answer, and I would like the Labour Party representative chieftains to start represent with this answering this question for me. When given the mandate, sir, when your candidate is given the mandate by Nigerians, and looking at how the Nigerian system is at the moment, looking at how by statistic, looking at it, we are having over 200 million population, and by statistic, we have about 133 million multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria, which is 66.5% of the Nigerian populace are already in poverty. How can your candidate, when given the mandate, will be able to remove or transform us from such kind of poverty that we have found ourselves? That, as you said, when you are talking, I listened to you cleanly, that the market woman can be able to feel the impact of a government. Understand? So how can your candidate be able to do that and be able to transform the situation around?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. It is a shame that we are having this number of multidimensionally poor people in one of the richest countries of the world. It's a shame that having been blessed with enormous natural resources, we're having this amount of poor people in the world. Today, we have the highest number of people living in multidimensional poverty across the world. And it baffles me how anybody who supports this government intends to deceive the people yet again that, oh, well, all these don't matter, vote for us again. How should we reinforce failure? Back to the issues. A nation that cannot feed herself cannot make progress. And if you check the indices for this multidimensional poverty, you're seeing that apart from this number of people not having monies in their pockets, they are saying that they don't have decent primary health care. They are saying that they don't have decent water to drink. They are saying that they cannot even feed themselves. That is why it is multi-dimensional. In every facet of the human life, 133 million Nigerian people are having a bad day. The only way to solve this problem, the only way to transform the lives of these people, the only way to increase the gross happiness index of these people is to give them the capacity to be productive. China did it. In 3 decades, China moved 300 million Chinese out of poverty. In our recent past, India did it. India moved 271 million people out of poverty in 10 years. What was the strategy? How did they achieve it? They all had to move from consumption to production. Let me break that down. Peter Obi has said severally that his primary goal when he becomes president is to move our country from consumption to production. There's nothing wrong with consumption. I mean, the level of consumption in a society portends or shows the income level in that society. So a society where there's high consumption, it shows that the people are prosperous in quote. That means they can afford to meet their needs. So consumption increase is beneficial in a society. But the problem is, what do you consume? Do you consume what you make domestically? Do you consume what you produce locally? Or you consume what you import? That is the reason why Nigerians are poor. We consume what we do not produce, and we produce what we do not consume. So the only way to save Nigerians, to deliver this number of poor people out of poverty, is to be able to make it easier for us to feed ourselves. The moment Nigeria becomes a self-sustaining nation, the moment we become food sustaining, the moment we can produce enough food to feed ourselves, we're going to dramatically reduce the number of poverty drastically. And how is that done? It's by improving our agriculture. When we were younger, our mothers used to buy, mangoes and oranges and plantains from the supermarket or from the markets. We all had, plantain trees in our houses. We had mango trees in our houses. We had orange trees in our houses. We were able to a very large extent, sustain ourselves with fruits and vegetables. We all had them in our houses. If we're going to buy things, maybe rice or beans or those, few staples, but majority of people grew those things in their houses. Today, we can't afford to do that anymore. And that is why we are having an increasing number of poor people. The moment Nigeria becomes food suppliant, food sustaining, food sufficient, we'll be able to deliver people out of poverty. And that is what Peter Obi stands for. He has said, we cannot continue to live the way we're living. We cannot continue to waste the way we're wasting. We cannot continue to invest in non-sustaining ventures. We cannot continue to cut our nose to spite our faces. What he's saying is, let us focus. We have 34 million hectares of arable land in Nigeria. What are we doing with it? Why are we not growing our food? The present government tells us that, we've become self-sufficient in rice production, which is a lie. Every market you go to today across the nation, there's imported rice. Where is that rice coming from? If we have closed our borders to imported food, and they say, now we're now consuming our own rice. How come the price of rice increases almost every week? If really we're consuming our own rice. So to
Okay.
summarize,
Okay.
the answer is that we must be able to feed ourselves. And Peter Obi has created a clear roadmap on how we're going to achieve that. That is the only way we can pull people out of poverty, because that's the only model that has ever worked in any country unsettled of yet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I hand over to my host, I would also like, I can see the APC chieftaincy is here on the show. I would love the PDP chieftaincy will now be able to do just the same question that I asked the Labour chieftaincy to the Nigerian populace when given the mandate. How will your candidate be able to metamorphose the 133 million multidimensional poor people that is found in Nigeria, sir, when given the mandate?
Well, thank you very much, sir. Like my brother have said, the main agenda is to take us out from this current government of pain and sorrow. And we are aware of how much the level of unemployment have increased over the last 7.5 years, how the level of decay in the economy. I would just beg Nigerians to look at statistics, to look at what it was even when Goodluck Jonathan was president, and as at that time, even our brother here, my elder brother Ifeanyi Osibo, was still in PDP, what the economy was and what it is now. But the difference between what it was before and what Atiku Abubakar is presenting is the fact that, like I said, because of my private sector background, a president I need today is a president that have tasted the private sector, that understand what it means to run a company and get profit from it. So what we want at this junction now is a president that will be able to tell Nigerians that we have XYZ billions, and if we apply it into the economy, we are going to get XYZ profit. The major sector, of course, we are aware that the oil is not what Nigerians can lay their interest on for sustainability. We have other sectors that the current government of the day have ignored. One thing Atiku has promised is that there is going to be a robust package for education. Every nation that must move from one place to another, one level to another, must be dedicated to improving education. And Atiku Abubakar have even presented that with the kind of school he is currently running at his own private level. And he has said that every Nigerian has a right to quality education. Our party, as a manifesto, have also placed it there, that education is going to be at the forefront. Secondly, everywhere in the world, we are aware that government alone cannot create jobs. So the Atiku manifesto have said that we are going to create substantial enabling environment for businesses to strive, so that direct and indirect jobs can be created. So that teaming the Nigerians who graduate from schools should have somewhere to get engaged, just the way it is in the Western world. Another thing in our manifesto, which is very glaring, is the maternal and child health that we are going to take very seriously, like the Edo State government is already doing with the institutionalization of the Edo Health Insurance Scheme. And what we have in the NHIS is going to be again robust, that every Nigerian, irrespective of where you are, irrespective of where you stay, you should be able to have quality health care. And we are going to bring everybody, including the private sector and the government, so that they can be in a pool.
Sorry, sir. The question that I asked is that how will your candidate, because if you get the question very well, I'm not talking about his manifesto now. I'm not talking about the manifesto of your candidate. I'm trying to understand you to say, what will your candidate do on trying to solve this problem of multidimensional poverty? Not about the manifesto that we have, because the Labour Party candidate have his own, the APC have his own, you understand? Your own have his own. So I want to introduce 2 or 3 sentences before I hand over to the host. In 2 or 3 sentences, can you be able to articulate your point very well to Nigerians and the electorate, because they are the defining factor for this coming 2023 election, and they're the one that are in problem, they're the one that are really they don't have food to eat. You see, and if I will borrow the statement from the Labour chieftains, he says that they don't even have quality drinking water. So what will your candidate do? That's what I want to know. That you tell the people, tell Nigerians to do. That okay, with this A plus B plus C, my candidate will do this. That my people will be out of this multidimensional poverty. In 2 or 3 sentences, please, as the host is going to take over. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. In the course of interrupting me, I think I have addressed education, I have addressed employment, and I've addressed issues of economy that my candidate is going to do when emerged president of the Federal Republic. I said that as far as the economy is concerned, we will not just be looking at what comes from the crude to settle recurrent expenditure. We are going to be looking at converting revenue that comes from crude to capital projects, capital expenditure that can convert to direct and indirect jobs. And one of the things that Nigerians also suffer is the lack of quality healthcare. And that was where I was, that we are going to ensure that the NHIS, which is now NHA, is now more robust, which is like what you have in UK, which is the NHS, to ensure that every Nigerian, irrespective of where you say, get healthcare. It's only a man that is healthy that will be able to fend for himself. And again, we are also going to be looking at growing the economy as far as agriculture is concerned. So every person that have access to arable lands should be able to farm without the interference of herdsmen and some other activities like that. I think I will stop there so that another person can speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan Okumbo. Over to you now, Mr. Ojubeli Macbeth. Thank you for joining us, the man representing the All Progressive Congress, and currently one of the APC chieftain in Okwani local government in Delta State. Just to buttress the question that my co-hosts have asked, currently we have the percentage of 66.5% of Nigerians living in poverty. And these amount to about 133 million Nigerians living in poverty. And this is as a result of the current governments, what they have done, how they have placed Nigerians. So what will your own presidential candidate, the person of Tinubu, what will he do in making sure that Nigerians, or what will he do differently from what the same person from his political party has done so far? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tionsi Korohan, and thank you to every person who have actually represented their candidate very well. Of a truth, I am very impressed in the way some of us try as much as possible to defend people who have a dreamless dream for the future of Nigeria. I must say, Nigeria has gone beyond the fact that we look at statistics. Nigeria has gone beyond the aspect of theory. Nigeria at this stage is at a stage where we think of practical things to actually elevate the people from poverty. And I must say that irrespective of the fact that people criticize the government of Buhari so well, I know it is because of immediate need. That is the reason behind that. If not, looking at it statistically, like they are always saying, Buhari government has actually done a lot to elevate poverty. But Nigerians, per se, in our nature, we want the government to spoon feed us. They provide food, they provide everything, but we want them to feed us with what they have provided. We are not so good in taking charge of opportunities presented, and those who take charge of opportunities presented hoard it from others to actually explore. Uh, Tinubu as the next president of Nigeria, by God's grace, have a lot of mandates, to actually, promote the expense of Nigeria, coming from the level of poverty rates to a better percentage, where an ordinary Nigerian will not live with per dollar a day. And the essence of him doing that is to understand, first of all, is awareness. First of all, is awareness. You must be aware of your environment before you understand that you are actually poor or rich. You see, statistically, what they present to us as being poor Nigerians, I must first of all disagree with that. 66 or so of the percentage of Nigerians being poor is actually arguable, because that is not actually the truth about it. Um, Nigerians are rich, they can feed, but they don't really have the wealth to give or provide everything they need, and that is what people look at generally. Tinubu, in his own way, have seen that agriculture is the best way to get to a common Nigerian who is living at a rural area. And you must understand so that we as a people, we love replicating what is happening at the Western world. We love trying to emulate the US, trying to emulate the UK, trying to emulate other areas, because we think that what actually worked for them will work for us. But we are living in a different environment, and that is what Tinubu is coming to give to us. First of all, to understand your environment and to understand what will work for you in your environment, irrespective of what God has blessed us with in Nigeria. A lot of people, rely so much on crude and other mineral resources that God has blessed us with. But of a truth, um, a great philosopher said, do not think of what your government can give to you, but what you can give to your own country. You know, the essence of all this I'm saying is basically because of the Labour Party representative who has said Obi wants to give this, Obi wants to give that. Those are philosophy. They are pure philosophy. Those are what we saw in the higher institution. Nobody believed that he would go to school, graduate, and not have a job, with the mentality we had, with what the lecturers, the teachers, and the instructors actually taught us in school. We never believed that we will go to school and not have a job at the end of the day, because they give you they present to you this mindset that all is well. And this is what Peter Obi and Atiku are presenting. Atiku have actually indirectly have been in the hem of affair of the country, and we'll see how fantastically corrupt he is, privatizing all sector, using his personal money to buy these things, just to acquire more wealth for himself, impoverishing all Nigerians, into what we are facing now. The the main thing I want to say now is that I don't want to go too far in terms of bitter politics, but I must say that once we look at what Tinubu have done in Lagos, we should also understand that it took Lagos from nothing to something. Lagos is a place that is actually looked down on, in several areas. But today, Tinubu has actually made Lagos a point of reference for a lot of people. People who feel they are not doing well want to go to Lagos so that they can have a life to live. That is to tell you that there is presence of government in Lagos. I am not going to tell you our manifesto. I am not going to speak much on what we are going to do as a government when Tinubu emerges as the president. But I want to tell you that if Tinubu can replicate what he did in Lagos, in Nigeria, we are going to have three basic things in this country. We are going to have peace, we are going to have a lot of employment opportunities, either from the private sector and the government sector, and we are going to elevate a lot of people from poverty, based on the fact that a lot of people are going to a lot of people are actually going to get opportunities to explore agricultural facilities. A lot of people, into domestic farming and mechanized farming. A lot of people are going to be elevated in those areas. The human capital development will be a key, because even an Agberu in Lagos is wealthy now. An ordinary person, an intelligent person can survive in Lagos presently. An Agberu in Lagos can survive successfully. An agriculturist can survive in Lagos. Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
that answer. Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you.
because we are trying to also consider timing in whatever we are doing. Okay,
Thank you.
over to you now, Mr. Isibo. Now, looking at from the year 2011 to 2015, insecurity in the Northeast became the order of the day. So we have also seen that in other parts from that time till now, other parts of Nigerians or other part of Nigeria, the southern part and the other areas, insecurity has also become the order of the day in those parts. So what do you think that your presidential candidate, the person of Mr. Peter Obi, what do you think is going to do in helping Nigerians to sleep with their two eyes closed, and not to be sleeping and at the same time thinking of what will happen in the next few minutes? Thank you, Mr. Isibo. You can go ahead, sir.
I'll try to be brief. First of all, let me, respond a little bit to what my friend in Delta State just said. And I
think we are having some
found it would be this
okay.
bold. So yes, I find it very interesting that any member of the APC would be this bold to say the things he just said from his mouth to Nigerians. You see, the APC is making a fool of the people. They're making mockery of the people. They're making merchandise of the people. You want to talk about a government that has been a catastrophic failure in the last 7.5 years? They're comparing that with an individual, like Peter Obi, for example. Then to make it worse, he talked about Lagos. Does he know that Lagos is the third most difficult place to live in the world today? Does he know that Lagos has a democratic system that is bastardized, where one man decides who will be governor, one man decides who will be deputy, one man decides who goes to the Senate, one man decides the fate of the Lagos people, and God forbid that such a system will be replicated in Nigeria. God forbid. Then he's talking about that the Buhari government has done so well. Let us put some statistics before him. Does he know that today we have the highest number of maternal mortality in the world? That of every 100,000 births, 1,000 women die trying to deliver in Nigeria, worse than you have in Afghanistan or Somalia. Does he know that we have the highest infant mortality rate in the world today? Does he know that the inflation is 22% today, one of the worst across the African sub-region? Does he know that Nigeria has the least life expectancy rate in Africa of 52.8 years? Does he know that the debt this government has accumulated in the past 7 years was 15 trillion in 2015 to 77 trillion today? Does he know? Does he know that the average Nigerian cannot afford to feed himself 3 times in a day? Does he know that school children were out of school at the tertiary level for 8 months, not having their education truncated? He doesn't even understand the plight Nigerian people are going through. And to see a member of a failed government criticize another individual is pitiable, is laughable, and should not even be entertained. That's on one side. We have had the worst level of insecurity across the nation today. In 2015, we had insecurity in the Northeast. The Boko Haram and all that. Major areas in every local government council in Nigeria. We have people unable to travel from Benin to Sapele, a 45 minutes journey, without getting kidnapped or getting lost. Yesterday, we're seeing on the news, there are 11 little girls that were kidnapped 20 months ago in Kebbi. They're still in captivity. Many have been killed. We still have some of the Chibok girls who were kidnapped, who are still in detention, under the control of kidnappers today. Today, we have over 40 communities under the control of bandits in Nigeria today. For the first time, we had the convoy of the president attacked in his home state, Katsina State, where a lot of communities are still under bandits in the president's home state. Yesterday, we had terrorists invade a church in Niger State, killing the priest there and burning him alive. There are pockets of insecurity in every local government area in Nigeria today. Just a few days ago, the train in Igweben was attacked with about 14 civilians, Nigerians, kidnapped. If not for the intervention of the security agencies that were having to have a good number of them being rescued, what would have been the story today? Nigerians now are afraid to travel by air, afraid to travel by road, afraid to travel by train. And somebody is opening his mouth to tell us that Buhari has done well. In what country does he exist? It is annoying to the average Nigerian to listen to that. So what do we intend to do when we drive out the demonic APC and we have a new government? The only way we can secure a country is by one, uniting the people. Nigeria has never been as divided as it has been under Buhari. It is a shame that having been elected as president, Buhari came on TV to tell Nigerians that he won't treat everybody the same way, that those who gave him votes will get more benefits than those who didn't give him votes. How can a president after an election make such an irritating and unreasonable comment? But that's what we had. And that's what we started seeing pockets of
Mr. Moderator, is that the question, sir?
Because they felt excluded. That is why we're seeing unimaginable insecurity in the Southeast. What do we intend to do? Like I said before, one, unite the people. Let our brothers in the North see our friends in the East as brothers. Let our brothers in Lagos see our brothers in Benue as brothers. That is the first way to solve insecurity. Apart from re-engineering the security architecture, apart from boosting the morale of our soldiers, boosting the morale of our police, boosting the morale of our civil defense guys, we have to increase the remuneration of these people. How can a policeman earn less than 50,000 and expect to put his life on the line? It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. We must re-engineer the complete security architecture of the country, hire more men and women in uniform, increase the remuneration of our police officers, boost your morale, ensure that there's unity in the nation, where everybody takes it upon himself to protect his neighbor. That is the best form of insecurity. When you are seeing something wrong happen to one man and you raise an alarm, even if the police is not there, even if the soldiers are not there, everybody being his brother's keeper. Nigerians don't see themselves as one today. We are deeply divided. That is the first and the major way to solve insecurity, like I just said out. And all of these are encapsulated in the manifesto. These are practical steps of how to solve insecurity. It happened in Anambra State, to the extent that the IG of police at the time gave Peter Obi an award for being the governor who had invested the most in security, for having a state who has had the least level of insecurity when Peter Obi was governor. So when anybody comes to tell you that what we say about the Labour Party manifesto or about the Peter Obi incoming government is just philosophy, it begs the question, does he understand what philosophy is?
I think we are having some network glimpse there. Mr. Sibo, are you there?
How the minds of the
Yeah, I
people
think.
have to be remanded.
Hello, Mr. Sibo, are you there?
Yeah. So
Okay.
to round up my points,
Okay.
Lagos State cannot be an example of what Nigeria should be. A state where thugs and hooligans and bandits intimidate the people? Is that the kind of Nigeria you want to have? Where everybody goes to Tinubu to bow before him because before you, is that the kind of Nigeria you want to have? God forbid that we can have a Tinubu as president. God forbid. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isibo. I think the talk show today is becoming very hot at this time. So I would have loved to ask the person of Mr. Jonathan Okumbo to also let us know what his presidential candidate, the person of Mr. Atiku Abubakar, not forgetting the fact that he's from the Northeast. And during the period of 2011 to 2015, where insecurity became the order of the day in the Northeast, and also my humble brother here, my co-host, also is from the Northeast. He has appraised me severally on what happened in the Northeast during those periods. So what did Mr. Atiku Abubakar, what did he do, and what is he going to still do at this time to make sure the issue of insecurity in Nigeria as a whole will become a thing of the past?
Well, thank you very much. I'm indeed very pained that at this historical time, at this biblical time, that a young man who sits beside a very fine vehicle will come out to defend a government have termed. In fact, I have a few friends who are in APC who have apologized to us that this government of the day have failed Nigerians. They are only hoping that their candidate will come and do something different. But to think that somebody will come out, I think I'm pained indeed that somebody can say that the government of the day have done well for Nigerians. I don't know where you stay in this country, but I know that no matter how much you get from the political party that you belong to, I know how much you should be buying fuel some 8 years ago and what you buy now. I know how much, if you have given birth, how much the school fees for your children was and what it is now. If you are married, how much you used to give to your wife for market and what you give your wife.
Mr. Jonathan, are you there? I think we're having some network issues just now.
If you have any family members abroad who used to give you money to change for any project or for living, what the value used to be and what it is now.
Can we please stick to
Come
the
out to say the
question?
government of the day has done well. I think
Jonathan,
the first thing I expected was for this young man to come up to apologize to Nigerians and not talk about the candidate of the day. Having said that, I will go straight to the question you have asked me.
Thank you.
In 2017, I used to work in Bayelsa State. And as late as 1 p.m., 2 p.m. at night, I used to travel from Bayelsa. If I leave Bayelsa around 8, by 1, maybe 1, 2 or thereabout, I should be in Benin. And I stroll home. And when I get to Bayelsa, I also stroll home. I can't travel from Benin to Agbo, Delta State, without the fear of being kidnapped. I can't travel from Orion local government or Ikpobaha or Ego to Nwonde local government at a hall without taking a fasting and prayer to think that I will not be kidnapped around the Geduma houses. We have never been this insecure. People are being kidnapped at the doorstep of their compounds. The truth of the matter is that insecurity has to do with the leadership. When the leadership allows one or two things to strive, what you see is a sporadic, is an uncontrolled. What Atiku Abubakar have promised, that he is going to be fighting insecurity head on. And that is what a leadership should present to Nigerians at this junction. Are we going to offer a country to a man who cannot man the stage for a campaign for 5 minutes without making mistakes, to come and correct the insecurity in this AP6-man village? Today, our lives are in danger. What Nigerians are industrious, Nigerians are resourceful, Nigerians are productive. What they are asking for government is not too much. Provide us electricity, provide us security, and we'll look for others for ourselves. And that is what the government of the day have refused to provide and give us a better economy.
And what are these steps that Nigerians can be secured? What is your own presidential candidate going to do in making sure that Nigerians are secured?
Atiku have said that there is going to first and foremost be an overhauling of the security architecture of this country. We are going to do an overhauling of the leadership of the security architecture of this country. And at the level of recruitment, there is a pledge that is going to be unbiased, where a section of Nigerians are the only ones being engaged for superior offices, while other Nigerians are allowed to take the recruit position, will be a thing of the past. And that is what we have suffered over the years, where the recruits are meant to die, and those who are engaged through such services because they are influential are allowed to enjoy the largesse of the security agencies. Atiku is promising that when he emerges, he's going to do an overhauling of the system. And he has already pledged that there is going to be a security arrangement, even at the state level is going to allow it. And that is what our state government here has already moving towards. You can see what happened in Igwebe a few days ago. Over 20-something persons were kidnapped. With the effort and the move of the state government to encourage them to move out, over 12 persons have been recovered. What stops us from having a state police? All of these things will be a thing of the past. We can have indigenous people getting closer to security agencies so that they can get to the nip it on the board, where people who are involved maybe you are expecting somebody who was recruited in Abuja that comes from Castina to come and catch a thief in Benin City. It doesn't work. So I am appealing to Nigerians today that first and foremost, APC as a party that have brought us so much pain should be rejected. And what we are appealing is that let them allow us to have a breath of fresh air. Like I said before, I will not be biased. There are two regions of this country have never tested the presidency, which is the Northeast and the Southeast. And that places Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar in the ballot. And because of the kind of background I have at the private sector, I am picking Atiku above Obi so that he can be able to bring down the economy from where it is now that Buhari have sent us to back to life so that we can get better as a country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan. Before I will hand over to my co-host to take over, Mr. Macbeth Ojubeli, I know you have a lot to say. Please, let's stick to the question. How has okay? I'll see. Go over the question again for you. The insecurity in Nigeria.
Yes.
We understand the state of insecurity in Nigeria, and nobody can boldly say that he's secured, no matter how wealthy you think you are in Nigeria currently. And do you think Nigerians will still trust the country in the hands of same political party who has brought us to this particular state that we are just now? And how will your presidential candidate bring us out of this mess that we are into now? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satim. I am very, very impressed with the words of Mr. Stibo and Ubaidi. Um, Basically, if people have nothing to say, the best form is to attack the messenger instead of attacking the message. You know, I am very impressed because they are actually good sons from their bad fathers. You know, what I have witnessed is conspiracy. You know, if people are desperate, you know, to take up a particular position, what they do, instead of attacking the message, they rather want to attack the messenger so that they will actually put a form of intimidation or whatsoever. But it is very clear, you know, it is crystal clear, like the Bablika Teke Teke Mene Yufasi, you know, is visible to the blind, you know, and horrible to the deaf that what Mr. Sibo and what Mr. Obeide have actually proposed here is actually based on fallacy and desperation to take over the government. You know, Nigeria is so ripe that we don't even need a new bill like P2B to come and actually test its tentacle in our country. You know, P2B have been given opportunity to test what it has, you know, in Anambra State. And we all can agree without any form of biasness that P2B is a woeful failure in Anambra State. You know, P2B has no legacy, you know, as a former governor in Anambra State. And let's not go to that. Let's not go to that because in this election, we do not have contest with P2B. We only have people who are shouting obedient, obedient, obedient because they are lackadaisical about the efforts, you know, need to put in the expense of political journey per se.
Mr.
You
Mohammed,
know,
can
they
you
do
please
not.
stick to the question?
My brother, the truth is that I can stick to the question at the end of the day because an attack needs an attack. These people attacked, you know, what I said about Tinubu and Buhari's government, you know, because of desperation. And okay, let me just put it this way. Let me just put it this way. Let me not use an attack for an attack. Tinubu, per se, is actually the best candidate that Nigeria needs now in terms of peace. Like my friend said, Mr. Esibo, we need someone who is going to actually, you know, push, propose, and achieve unity in this country. And you can agree with me that the essence of insecurity in Nigeria is not born and bred in the APC government. It is a product of the PDP government, you know. And the main opponent of my principal, who is Ahmed Tinubu, is Atiku, you know. And Atiku have been in the aim of government in this country, and he has bastardized the system so well that corruption has become a norm in the system, you know. And this system needs a matured mind who can actually reunite all aspects of the government. You know, we need unity between the East, the South, and the West, and also the North. You know, and the only person who can actually achieve that is the person of Tinubu. Why did I say that Tinubu is the only person who can achieve that? Tinubu is an elder statesman of the country and is so aware of the nitty-gritty, the ongoing of the country. And I must say that he has this wherewithal to handle the aspect of security in the government. I believe that people will accuse him because he's an APC member that why is it that he has not actually accomplished that under the Buhari's government. This is it. P2B's proposition is is that it's going to bring unity, employment, and all that to the country, the same way Atiku has proposed to. But I want to say that people who are criticizing Buhari now, what was Buhari's proposition when he was coming? It was all promises, and he was able to achieve some and leave some for the next government to do. I want to say this: we are so selfish and sentimental in our political angle because of our selfish interest in what we want to gain in the country. But nobody can say that he was asking me if I have children, how much I spend on my children and all that. I believe that the opportunities we have now, Mr. Man, I want to say that the opportunities we have now as a people in this country was not there during the Yaradua's the Jonathan's period, the Obasanjo and Atiku's period. We are actually enjoying the country more than those periods. And I can prove that because I witness all the democratic democratic section and transition of this government. And I know that for sure that the APC government might actually not have actually impress Nigerians because of expectation. That is one of our problems. But I can say that the APC government have done a lot to actually fight a lot of issues, both from external aggression and internal subversion. So I believe that Buhari's government have done a lot, and Tinubu is coming, to actually give put the salt and the Maggi into the soup of what Buhari tried to propose to Nigeria and make it sweeter. There will be peace in Tinubu's administration as proposed, and I believe that we also need command, of these areas to actually achieve the peace. If Peter Obi should emerge as the president of Nigeria, what stake does he have to control the northern perspective? What stake does he have to control the southern perspective? See, we'll have the rise of more terrorist group if these people emerges as president of the country. If Atiku should emerge, I'm standing here to tell you very tall that there will be no peace in his government because he is fantastically corrupt and is one of the promoters of this terrorism in our country. Atiku even does not have a stake. If we're even considering a candidate, we should be thinking of just Tinubu and Tinubu alone, because I'm not seeing any other candidates from any other party. So Tinubu is going to give us peace. And okay, let me leave it there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Macbeth. I think I love one of the words you use by saying that Tinubu is coming to put the salt into the soup, which Buhari proposed or tried proposing to our Nigerians. So I think that is a message for Nigerians out there. So over to you now, my co-host, Mr. Ijabla Papka. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It has been a very interesting moment of discussion. I will always try to be apolitical in this moment when I'm trying to hear different opinion. But from the discussions of these men and of timber and caliber, I was able to draft out some things. I have to deviate from my questions that I have before, because as a scientist like me, I always analyze, understand. So with all what they discuss, and more especially in terms of the security and in terms of agriculture, yes, then I went through my just a little bit of history. We remember General Olusegun Obasanjo have a program called Operation Feed the Nation when he was the head of state. And we remember I led Shehu Shagari Green Revolution on trying to also feed the nation. And yes, you see, it is very important and it's very paramount. A nation that cannot feed itself, it cannot stand. That's the truth. You see, so looking at it and about feeding the nation with these policies that no longer will I say existing or so, with what Mr. Ogbide, Osibo, Dickin Jonathan, and Greatness were talking. They were hitting about, you guys were hitting on agriculture. Then here is a question that I was able to draft with all the discussion that you people have been talking about. I say, if agriculture is the way to feed Nigeria, then how can Nigeria embark in food production when the lives of our citizens is threatened. The life of our citizens is really threatened. You look at it, if I can remember very, very well, Nigeria, where I come from, I know because I'm the son of the land. Nigeria have white arable land for farming. And if you go to that white arable land for farming, I want to tell you without shadow of doubt, without apology, that white arable land is captured due to insecurity. That white arable land is captured insecurity. If the white arable land is captured due to insecurity, that now we have another government inside the government, you understand? Then how can people feed themselves? So that's the question I really want to know, because it is really intertwined. You understand? I wanted to go about education and health, but this is so much important for me at the moment, that how can we be able to feed the nation with this issue of insecurity? Because all of you here, we are promising Nigerians that Mr. Osibo said, if Peter Obi, the Nigerian mandate is given to him, he is going to feed the nation. And Mr. Jonathan Sem said, if Atiku is given the mandate, he is going to feed the nation. The same thing, Mr. Greatness, he said, if Tinubu is given the mandate, he is going to feed the nation. Then I begin to ask this question. We had Green Revolution, we have Operation Feed the Nation. Then how can it be able to be functional with this insecurity? Because you go to the Northwest, that is bandit. Was it yesterday or so that the Reverend Father was killed and destroyed? A lot of things you can see. He's burnt to ashes. You go to, yes, the cheapest girls. I can see, like somebody like me, as I want to talk, because I know what it means, what to experience insecurity. I came from Northeast. I came from where Boko Haram has taken place, have captured, and we left our farms, we left everything. So I know what it means to a place that when there's insecurity, we can no longer farm. And a lot of my people there cannot farm. So when your candidate is given the money, how will he solve this issue? This is what I want to hear, and what Nigerians want to hear. It's not about attacking. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, we can just answer that question within. We can just give ourselves 1 minute to please answer that. Let's just hit the nail. Let's hit the question and not attacking ourselves. Over to you now, Mr. Sibo.
Well, this is not a matter of attacking ourselves. I wish to take exception to the insult from the last APC man, who I don't know what he meant by good sons or bad fathers. I want him to explain, and if he cannot explain properly, he should apologize for that. That's on his side.
Okay,
Security.
sorry about that. What I meant was that
Security and the
you are a good
welfare of
man.
the
You are a
people.
good man from a bad candidate. That was what I meant.
Thank you. I understand that now. Accepted.
Yes.
The security and the welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government. That's what the Constitution says. When the people cannot live in a secure society, they cannot progress. So, back to the question, we will not be able to progress in our agriculture. We will not be able to go into commercial farming, from subsistence farming. We will not be able to become food reliant and self-sustaining if our villages and our farmlands are occupied by bandits. So the first thing the Peter Obi government would do is to secure the nation. And like I said, it starts by first uniting the people. There's no reason why a herdsman, for example, cannot live side by side a farmer. We can have such an arrangement. Why can't we have ranches? A herdsman can actually have his cattle graze in the farmland, and it's barricaded such that the grasses there are enough to feed his cattle. By the side, you can have a farmer who is having his maize farm or his rice farm. We existed side by side for centuries. So what has happened now that we have become enemies to ourselves? So that is why I said first you have to unite the nation by uniting the people. That's the first way to solve insecurity. Then directly, there must be a committed effort to engage some of these terrorist groups. We don't have the security apparatus to exterminate all of them. There are some of them that they may have what I may call some genuine reasons for doing what they're doing. And it's all embedded in poverty. Let us have a conversation with these people. What can we do as a government that will make you drop your weapons? What can we do as a government that will make you productive? Because kidnapping people to get ransom is a way of life for these people. What can the government do to stop it? We saw it happen before. Yeah, right. Jonathan did it with the insurgency or the uprising in the South, where we had militants destroying the oil facilities. What did they do? Apart from, instead of going ahead to kill them and bomb them, they had a negotiation with them. You can drop your arms and you will get this. That's the same thing that we can deploy in this system, because our security apparatus cannot tackle the level of terrorism we have across the entire nation. So while we're going to go after the bad ones, there are some also who we need to dialogue with, some we need to have this conversation with, because the truth is that we will not be able to move forward and make progress until there's a semblance of security across the nation.
Okay, thank you for this brief answer. And I will go back to the APC candidate. As you see, time is not on our side. Yes, it's also the same question, but your own question I have to rephrase it because you are the man of the hour, because your government is on power. I still remember 2015, you came with the mantra of change. Due to insecurity, the government of the day, the PDP at then, you said that, oh, the insecurity is being sponsored by the PDP. And the Nigerians, you seek for the Nigerian mandate that we are going to change this issue. We're going to change this stuff. Nigerian gave you mandate. 2019, you came with next level. We thought that the next level is going to move forward. You understand? But still, we are seeing now that is spread all across. Before it was only in the northeast that we had such issue of insecurity. But now we have gone down to the northwest, gone down to the north central, we now go down to the southeast, now south, south, and southwest. And you people are in government. Please, sir, how will your principal? He says he's bringing a new hope. Where is the hope? How can we see the hope when the next level and the change did not work for us, for the country? Can you please help us, sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. Host. First of all, I want to apologize to my fellow speaker on the aspect of being a bad son from being a good son from a bad father. It is basically not a direct statement. I meant you are a good person. I have seen that, but you are supporting a wrong candidate. That was what I meant. However, proceeding, you said 1 minute, so I have to use my time judiciously. Basically, um, I think we are missing something. We are looking more about political party than individuals. You know, I am speaking as a Nigerian and not just as a chieftain of a particular party. Um, I am looking at it from the angle where we need to concentrate more on the capability and capacity of these individuals, you know, vying for the position of the presidency rather than looking at their political parties, because which is
It seems there is a network glitches. My host, should I go over to the next person?
Yeah, I think the PDP representative can just go ahead, please.
Okay, because maybe Mr. Dickin Jonathan, sorry, the same question goes to you. In a minute, can you please help us? You understand?
renewed hope is basically truism.
I think Mr. Macbeth Ojubeli is having some network issues where he is.
Yes, hopefully 2023, any government of the day will be able to solve the issue of poor network stability
So they are
in the country. Sorry, so the Nigerians, we are having issue of a network from
Mr. Macbeth, are you back now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
sorry
we
about
lost
that.
you.
It was a network. So basically, the renewed hope is not actually a continuation of what Buhari has have actually provided to Nigerians, but actually the practical perspective of a typical Nigerian who understand the pain of a Nigerian. I must tell you the truth. I said something in my words that we need someone who can actually unite these sectors of the country. You know, we need someone who have the wherewithal to actually bring the north, west, south, and east together as a people. You know, if you look at the Yaradua Jonathan's amnesty program, you understand that the South were actually basically more of the terrorism, affecting the country. The reason why they are like that is because they are aggrieved section of the country. And what we are noticing in the Buhari's government is we see a section of cabals in the country trying to cause unrest for the country. And it is just a product of maladministration from some states that are owned by government. Let's take, for example, the PDP government in Delta State have actually made life unbearable in our own state. The reason why they have made life unbearable is because they try to tag the federal level they are trying to blacklist the federal level of not coming down to the state level to help them out. All these things are just excuses on not giving us the dividends of democracy that we deserve. So what I'm trying to say is that we need someone like Tinubu who can unite all sectors of the country, all areas of the country, all geographical zones of the country. And with that unity, you understand that we'll have a level ground of understanding where agriculture will thrive, where our natural resources will be produced, refined, and given to us in a cheap rate. We will have an understanding where we need to understand that what we are producing in
Sorry,
Nigeria
I will
is
have to
satisfiable.
cut you short. Sorry, I will have to cut you short.
Sorry, I want to say this. We have to also break what we call indigenophobia. Nigerians have the spirit of indigenophobia, where we don't place value on what is produced, what is actually done here. So we need to have a section of a presidency who have a command that can actually project that unity that will make us understand and value what comes from us. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much for your wonderful contribution. But yet, I still wonder. You said that we don't need a party, but how can an individual vie for position without a party? That is another question for another day, maybe for another program, another time.
I said we need an individual who wants to project Nigerian interests more than the platform you are emerging from. P2B is coming from a platform, is an individual. Tinubu is coming from APC, is an individual. Atiku is coming from a platform, is an individual. But who have the capability and capacity to lift Nigeria from the present situation to a better situation is what we should look at as Nigerians, rather than supporting a political party, in a straightforward way. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Tinubu has the wherewithal to reunite Nigeria and make Nigeria great again. And I believe that Tinubu is going to do that as the next president of Nigeria. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. As I said, maybe next time we will discuss much on that. Maybe next time. But definitely the same question goes to the Atiku Abubakar Wazir Adamawa candidate here. This question is more for you, coming from also your candidate coming from us, especially Adamawa State, where the whole northern zone, the territorial district of Adamawa State, was captured by Boko Haram, and that place was the core of what we call a good farming place for the country and the zone at large. So, sir, if or when your candidate, Nigerians gave him the mandate, please in 1 minute. Please in 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly say that everyone here is aware that Atiku Abubakar is a unifier. But beyond that, like we have all agreed, that what we need first is security. Because the decline in production of food and services, the decline in the economy, and every other sector of life in Nigeria today is because Nigerians can no longer move from one place to another. In my village, people can no longer go to farm to get a living. And like I said before, I said 2 regions have not tasted presidency before, which is the Northeast and the Southeast. And incidentally, those are the regions today that are worst hit as far as security matters is concerned. If you see the level of agitation that is coming up in the Southeast and that of the Northeast, you will see that these people are unhappy in the current situation of the country. For us as a party, we decided to choose Atiku Abubakar because, first and foremost, there is what we call empathy. When somebody who comes from a particular region now emerges he has a way of pacifying the people at that area to know that their own have become the leadership of the aim of affairs of the country. It has a way of sending it down to the people that they have to calm down. And again, like I said Atiku said is going to be dealing with insecurity very decisively. And of course, Atiku again have proven unifying when he picked Peter Obi at the last elections as his deputy. And again, he has also said that Southeast is going to be a priority in his agenda. When of Allah, we are going to also place very serious attention on the Southeast and look at the agitations and know how and best we will be able to manage. I'm sure, if not for the fact that the crisis that rocked our party, I'm sure maybe today Peter Obi would have also been the vice of Atiku, which would have been a balancing effect. Irrespective of that, that is why someone like Governor Kowa, who comes from the Delta speaking part of Delta, the Igbo speaking part of Delta, was chosen as a running mate to Atiku, so that immediately they emerge, the first thing they are going to do is how to bring Nigerians together, to unify us. But for those who become recalcitrant to the unity that they want to present, they are going to be hitting them head on. So that at every point in time, Nigeria is safe. Every Nigerian should be able to move from one point to another. And when that is achieved, economy will move forward, education will move forward, healthcare will move forward, and everything will move forward.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you for your submission, and I would like to hand over to the host because I think time is not on our side. Maybe yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius. As I know some of us actually said we have a lot of things to do today. So we are just rounding up already for today's edition of the Politics and You. So just as a way of rounding up, Mr. Isibo, what is your final word to your people and to Nigerians at large before you go?
Nigerians understand the situation they're in right now, and they understand that to move forward, they have to make a choice. And I'm going to appeal to everybody, go get your PVCs. That's the weapon we have to dislodge the APC. That's the only way the ideas and the vision of Peter Abi can become a reality in our lives. So go get your PVCs and shun any form of intimidation. When you get to the polling units on election day, cast your votes for Peter Obi and remain there to make sure that the votes count. Nobody has the powers to intimidate you. Nobody has the powers to steal your votes. And do not sell your votes. You can't sell your votes and sell your future to miscreants for another 8 years. So get your PVC. Let those around you get their PVCs. We're all going to vote. We're going to push out APC, and we're going to change our government for the better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sibo. So over to you now, Dickie Jonathan. What is your final word to Nigerians at large before you go?
Fellow Nigerians, it has been 7 years. It has been 7.5 years of darkness. It has been 7.5 years of tribulation. I want to beg you, Nigerians, wherever you are all over the world, come back home and get your PVC. We need to tell these people that the days of the Packer ones are over. Let us decide wisely and take our destiny in our hands. We have a common enemy. The common enemy are those who have shortchanged our future for the past 7.5 years. We have a common enemy that have taken us for granted for 7.5 years. We must vote them out and get Nigeria running again. It is a mission to rescue Nigeria, and Atiku Abubakar is the option for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odikin Jonathan Okubo. Over to you now, Mr. Ojugbeli Macbeth Greatness. What do you have to tell Nigerians before you go tonight?
Fellow Nigerians, I must be sincere with you at this point in time. We do not need Englishans. We do not need philosophers. We do not need sycophants, to push the nation forward. What we need is a renewed hope. What we need is Tinubu. I must be sincere with you, irrespective of our political parties, our individualistic capability is the hem of the whole thing we are looking at. I must sincerely tell dearest Nigerians that Tinubu is the hope that Nigerians have been clamoring for. We do not need new bills to take the helm of affair of our country. And I must tell you, Peter Obi is a celebrated politician. He's a celebrity because of our perspective about what we need. But I must tell you the truth. Tinubu is the right man for the job. Get your PVC, go there to the polling unit, cast your vote for Ahmed Bola Tinubu as the next president of the country. And I must tell you, the Agbado president that people often say is not just an acronym or a nickname per se, but it's going to make all Nigerians smile. The renewed hope is real, and Macbeth Greatness Ojibeli is telling you all that there is no form of intimidation. APC is winning 5/5 all round, and we're making Nigeria great again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ojubeli. I want to say a very big thank you to all our viewers out there. Thank you for finding time to join us in this show this evening, Politics and You. We have a lot of questions, but we might not be able to take more questions from our audience for today because our time is already fast spent. I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Ifaluye Sibo, Deke Jonathan Okumbo, and Mr. Ojugbeli Macbeth for their time this evening. And we hope to see you again next week. We'll be having another a wonderful time with one person that we know and is a top political figure in the nation. We want him to come and let us know what is his plan for the nation. But for now, we want to say thank you to every one of you, and we hope to see you again soonest. Thank you very much, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. How did you see the program this evening, Ijabla?
Wow, sincerely speaking, I said there are men of timber and caliber. Everybody is here to fight for his or her candidates. Looking at it, I will sincerely, appreciate their time, and they really did well to defend their candidate and sell their candidate to Nigerians. But now it's up to Nigerians to be able to have their PVC, which is the permanent voters card. You understand? So to be able to determine who will lead them and take the affairs of governance for the next 4 years coming February 25th, 2023.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius. My co-host has said it all, and it's no longer news. The election is just by the corner. Do you want to still sell your future for the next 8 years? Do you want a country where an ordinary Nigerian cannot speak for himself? We want a country where a man that is known by nobody can stand up and speak for himself. We want a country where you can easily walk any time of the day without being interrupted. Where I am currently, I can move out anytime, any day, and nothing, I assure you, nothing will happen. I can travel from where I am currently to another city, nothing will happen. But can you do that in Nigeria? We want a country where you can stand up and defend your rights. Our educational system is there. The insecurity is there. You see the strike that have been on for months until it's been called off few months ago. Nigerians, it's time for us to wake up. And the only weapon that you can use in waking up is your PVC. If you've not gotten your PVC, go and get your permanent voters card. Go to the pool on that day. Cast your vote. Don't just cast your vote and go back home. Cast your vote. Stay there till the vote is counted. Defend your vote. It's time for Nigerians to stand up. The 2023 election that we have been clamoring about is no longer around the corner. It's already knocking at our door. What will you do differently this time? Are you going to take that 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, 4,000 naira, 5,000 naira and sell your conscience and sell your votes and suffer for the next 8 years? The reason why we are doing this today is to open the eyes of Nigerians. We have heard from the Labour Party our representative, we have heard from the PDP, and we have heard from the APC. What is your own take? And what can you say about these various people that have come to defend their political party? We hope to do this again, same time next week. But for now, let's not forget that this evening by 9 p.m. Nigeria time and 8 p.m. UK time, we're having another special program, maximizing global opportunities, where we're having one of our scholars coming to tell us how we can maximize global opportunities. Till then, I say very good night rest to each and every one of you. Bye-bye.